Hey, what's up guys, Matt with the Movement System. In this video, we're gonna talk about shin splints and how to fix them. As a physical therapist, strength conditioning coach, and a running coach, I've dealt with a lot of athletes who have had shin splints come on, and often when they're just Googling solutions, they don't really get good advice. So I just wanna make this quick video to share with you guys the thing that I've actually found that really helps with shin splints. So if you are experiencing shin splints, pain along the anterior or even into the medial side of the shin here, which is often called medial tibial stress syndrome, that we want to make sure is shin splints and it's not a stress fracture. So I want to be sure that you're not having pain in one specific portion of the lower 1/3 of the tibia where you could put like one thumb on it and then it keeps getting worse and worse over time, because those are more symptoms of a stress fracture. We want to make sure what you're experiencing is more diffuse pain that's spread out through the shin. It comes on with running. It's kind of annoying, but it's not one specific bone site. If your symptoms are more like a stress fracture where it's that one specific site in that lower third of the tibia, then that's a good indication that you want to go get a doctor's referral and make sure that you don't need to get into a walking boot or offload it. So as long as you're having that pain, it's a little bit more diffuse up and down the shin. It almost feels like it's kind of in the muscle here. That is shin splints. That's what we're going to cover in this video. For shin splints, there's a lot of movement related things that we can do. Maybe you started with some things like stretching and ice and massage, and it didn't really do much. And in reality, that's usually the case with shin splints. These passive modalities, where we're just kind of treating the area and trying to reduce pain, doesn't really solve the problem. You want to figure out what's actually the problem and how can you fix it. So what a lot of people start with is training the anterior tibialis muscle. And on the surface, this seems pretty smart. They'll do an exercise like this where they're standing up and they're letting the feet come down like this, and we're strengthening this anterior tibialis muscle. This can actually be moderately helpful. This is better than stretching. This is better than ice. This is better than doing foam rolling, but it's really still not getting to the root of the problem. So if you want to do tib raises, that's fine. We can strengthen that muscle, but shin splints is really a bony compressive issue, meaning when you're running and you're jumping and you're doing athletic movements, you're putting a lot of stress through the shin, and that's causing the bone to hurt up and down the shin. And what we really need to do is spread out load. What I mean by that is we need to improve the way the foot is interacting with the ground and absorbing force. If we can do this, we can actually spread out load throughout the lower body more instead of having it all concentrated in the shin. And that's what I've seen my athletes have a lot better results from, is from improving the way the foot moves rather than just working on the shin directly. So let's figure out how to do that. Okay, so to work on the foot to improve shin splints, we need to actually work on what's called pronation of the foot. Oftentimes, shin splints occurs when we have a rigid supinated arch or a high arch that doesn't yield and flatten as it's supposed to when we're running. We actually should see that the arch flattens. It's kind of a myth. A lot of people think that it's over flattening. In some cases it could, but in the case of shin splints, it's often not yielding enough and it's not distributing force, which is causing all that force to have to be absorbed at the shin rather than being absorbed through those arches of the foot that are supposed to be absorbing load. So the way we fix this is by setting up an exercise. I'm going to show you how to do it first with wedges. If you have wedges, this is a great way to go. These are the Prime Fitness wedges, because I know someone's going to ask. We have the 10 degree, 20 degree, and 30 degree wedges, and I think the 20 degree is most useful for this exercise and for a bunch of other exercises. So the way that you're going to set this up to specifically improve the foot movement so that way it improves the gait cycle and shin splint symptoms is like this. We're going to take the heel of the back foot, so whichever foot you're experiencing this on, you can do both if you're getting bilateral symptoms, but we're going to take the heel of the back foot and we're going to place it about halfway on this wedge with the wedge underneath the lateral side. So the wedge is out here on the lateral side, half of the heel is on the wedge, half of the heel is on the ground, and we're going to put more of our weight through the medial or the inside portion of that heel. That's already going to start to get the foot to flatten out a little bit and get that navicular bone to drop down towards the ground, which again is going to improve the way we're absorbing force during running. To further support this, we're going to take the second wedge and we're going to put it underneath the base of the big toe. So we're going to put it right there and kind of support this big toe, so that way the part when we're going into this exercise that's giving our weight is going to be into that midfoot and pronating or dropping that part of the foot down. And like I said, a lot of people with shin splints have a really stiff high arch, and this is gonna be difficult to get them to actually see this movement. But this is the movement we're gonna go for, and we're gonna do it by finding a split squat position. Okay, so here's the whole setup of the whole body and how we do the exercise. We're wedged under the lateral heel, we're wedged under the front of that big toe, and we're standing all the way up in a split squat position, and then we're just gonna rock forward and back, keeping the weight in two primary spots, keeping the weight in the big toe and the inside of the heel. This is gonna direct all of our movement towards the midfoot. So all of our weight that we're shifting into this leg as we shift forward and back is gonna go into that midfoot, and we're just gonna rock forward and back, working on dropping that midfoot down to the ground. We're gonna keep the knee in line with the toe here. We're gonna keep the hips square, and we're gonna just work on that small movement, and I can show you here. This is where you're gonna want to be, is out here, but you're gonna train your body to drop down like that and see that motion come from the midfoot. And that's really gonna help the way we absorb force, and it's gonna spread out all that load that's currently going to your shin. A lot of that's gonna be taken up by your foot, and then you're gonna be able to run more miles without having those symptoms. You can hold on for balance if you want to, but just slowly rock that knee forward and back, putting most of the weight towards the inside of your foot and watching that arch start to yield and start to gain some movement options. The more movement options we have at the midfoot, the more we can absorb force and spread it out as we're running. That's gonna allow us to run longer without having pain. If you don't have wedges, that's all right. We can set this up with just some plates. So you're gonna find some change plates. The easiest way is to set these plates up just like they were the wedge. But if you want to, you can even kind of add a second plate to turn it into a bit of a wedge, kind of like that. But same deal, we're getting a plate underneath that big toe, we're getting a plate underneath the lateral heel there, and then we're gonna put all of our force into this portion of the foot and try to get that to drop down. It's a little bit more of a clunky setup here with the plate, but it can definitely work. Work this exercise for 1 or 2 minutes at a time, 2 or 3 sets, and then see if you can notice your foot's ability to actually drop that arch and gain some movement at the midfoot improves. If that's the case and you can flatten the arch better, then you're on track, and that's what we're looking for. So give this exercise a try. Work it for 1 or 2 minutes, 2 or 3 sets every other day. You can do this in conjunction with other exercises like your tib raises and your calf raises and other things that'll help the lower body as well. But I think this one's really important for improving the way that midfoot moves. And this is gonna solve a lot of issues for especially those people who are stuck and feel like they've tried a bunch of regular exercises which haven't really worked. Also, it's really important to be consistent with your running mileage. So if you can be really consistent from 1 week to the next with gradually improving your running mileage and not having spikes in running mileage, that's a really big factor in reducing shin splints as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe so you don't want to see future videos. And if, like me, you're a physical therapist or you're a strength coach or a personal trainer watching this, then you might want to check out Movement Assessment 101. That's our continuing education course that teaches you movement assessment techniques like this for each part of the body. If you're interested, I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.